Hello there guys, this is the Prussian Prince with our Ro8 tournament video, and this is going to be the Team Dignitas Cold War Ro8 Invitational that happened earlier this month. So we have Agony Duck versus the ID's jonasnee in the first round, and we have Duck playing as Tylus versus the boy of jonasnee on Armavir. As you can see, both players are actually going for the hill, but Duck will be here first, and Duck is the attacker. Armavir is a really good map for the attacker, by the way, but I'm gonna slowly pause it. Actually, I don't need to pause it, I think. I'm gonna just quickly go over Duck's build. So he has 3 raiding horsemen over here. Then he has 2 Celtic warriors in the back. He has, of course, 2 Thracian warriors on his right flank, 2 Thracian warriors on his left flank, and then, of course, 2 more Celtic warriors. So he basically has 4 Celtic warriors in total and a huge long line. Then he has up front, we see 2 tribal warriors over here, 3, 4, 5, 6 tribal warriors. Why would you bring anything else? Of course, we have commander general for Duck, interestingly enough, but up front we have an Oathsworn unit as well that can do quite a bit of damage. Of course, there's 3 raiding horsemen already doing some damage to the Oathsworn general, but taking some jabs as well. Now they won't really be able to do return damage onto the raiding horse. Here you can see jonasnee is actually trying to catch the raiding horse with heavy horse, but that's not really gonna go too well for him. As for jonasnee's build, I mean, we can't really see what he has at the moment because basically most of his forces are hidden in the trees, but he does have 3 Oathsworns. Like, that's gonna be an important part of the battle. I mean, they can do a lot of work in melee as long as they don't really get surrounded. Like, if they fight frontally, they'll be able to grind it out extremely well. So you can see here the heavy horse dropping really quickly to massed fire from the 3 raiding horse that Duck has. Of course, tribal warriors, if they get their jabs, which Duck is trying to do here, if they get their jabs on the heavy horse, they should be able to do really well. And here comes Duck. He's already on the hill in the forest, so he can get a nice downhill charge on the Oathsworns. At this point, jonasnee should just be getting off the hill because there's not really much he can do. Look at his heavy horse just dropping in numbers very quickly to the raiding horsemen as well. Might have some jabs thrown by the tribal warriors. Actually, no, they have a wrong attack order. If they had attack orders on these cav units, they would absolutely destroy the cav units, but at least they get jabs and kill some of the horses with them. Also the Oathsworn general, so perhaps that is indeed what Duck wanted to do, but I mean, killing the heavy horse is going to be really important here. Of course, you can see the main line engagement starting over here with Duck having a pretty nice downhill advantage. He's going to be able to get the better engagement here, but I mean, this is a huge forest, so you can't really tell what is fully going on here because the trees are so big here, and like, you can't really see what is actually going on the battle. And here you can see the raiding horse are actually charging into heavy horse because they're really damaged at this point. You're gonna be Thracian warriors supporting the cav engagement because Thracian warriors are really good against cavalry. They have bonus versus cavalry. You can see Duck is actually doing a nice job here. He's actually using too many tribals for this Oathsworn, but it's gonna be able to kill it really quickly. He's got another tribal warrior engaging this Oathsworn. Got raiding horsemen that are gonna be going through here. Through this narrow gap probably is where he wants to send the raiding horsemen through. And yeah, they actually might be able to get through unless they get stuck. Wow, they didn't get stuck at all. Now they're gonna go for a nice rear charge into these levy freemen. They might be able to... They rout one of them. They might be able to rout the axe warriors as they are in red morale. And you can see here the Thracian warriors against the heavy horse. Thracian warriors, again, really good against heavy horse, but I mean, Duck's units over here have routed, but it's just really against lots of axe warriors, which, I mean, they're not terrible units, but I mean, they're not really going to be able to do much because the Oathsworns of jonasnee are basically going to die at this point, especially his general. His general has only gotten 50 kills, and sure, he's popping all of these abilities that are really helping him in combat to deal more damage, but the tribals for Duck are just crushing through. They're just crushing through the units that jonasnee has here. And I mean, yeah, these Oathsworns can do a lot of damage if they're engaging frontally, but again, all of the Oathsworns, you can see here that Duck surrounded them, and he's going to be able to use this Thracian warrior for some really nice downhill charges into the Oathsworns. So here comes Duck with some rear charges into the Oathsworns. Of course, you have more raiding horsemen over here gonna come into these axe warriors, which these guys are not really doing anything for jonasnee at this point. And there you go, you can see the raiding horse getting into the old swords here. Thracian warriors gonna be doing so much damage here, and just you can see Duck just absolutely going through these axe warriors and sword followers, doing so much damage to them at this point. And the raiding horsemen also getting a lot of kills. You can see the Thracian warriors mopping up some units over here. I believe they are Levy Freeman. And at this point, it is basically GG, with Duck winning the game. But I think what happened in this game is that Duck had the downhill advantage. He was able to neutralize a lot of the heavy horse with his raiding horsemen. And he surrounded the old swords really well with like tribals. And look at the tribals, they're in such a good state. I mean, they didn't really lose too many units to the old swords. The old swords, yeah, jonasnee had 3 old swords, but they were not engaging properly. They were surrounded and they didn't really have support, because alone surrounded, they will not trade cost effectively at all. They will just get destroyed against the good units. But yeah, you can see here that Duck is going to be taking the first game on Armavir with Tylus against the boy. Of course, these sword followers here are quite strong units, but I don't know if they're really going to be... Yeah, well, obviously they're not going to be able to deal with old swords and tribals, as well as Celtic warriors and Levy Thracian warriors and Levy Freeman support. There's no way. But yeah, we're going to be looking at the unit statistics really soon. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit because, you know, it is actually possible. But yeah, you can see that this one has gone well for Duck. He's going to be up 1-0 in this best of 3. And it's going to be interesting to see which factions they're going to go for in the second game and what now. But you can see that Duck, and even though he has been inactive in the 1-2 scene, tournament scene at least for a while, like he is coming back and just, again, like he knows a lot about the game. And so does jonasnee, but jonasnee has also been quite inactive. And let's look at the kills here. Your statistics, obviously, old swords for Duck just plowing through, as well as the tribals doing so much damage. Thracian warriors, Celtic warriors. Basically, almost every unit for Duck was cost effective here. Didn't even lose half his army. As for jonasnee, yeah, look at his old swords. Not a single old sword unit got cost effective here. I mean, sure, killing, let's say, 110 tribal warriors, it's cool. It's really cool, but it's not cost effective at all. And then the sword followers. Yeah, they got some kills, nice, but they didn't really do what they needed to do. Levy Freeman either. Axe warriors just absolutely were terrible in this fight. The heavy horse didn't do much either. But yeah, we're gonna go over to the next game. I mean, you can finally see the boy build. I would have brought more regular sword followers. I would have brought like at least 5 sword followers, I think. 3 is like very little number, like 5 or 6 is like standard. But yeah, I will see you in game number 2 of this matchup. And this is game 2 of this best of 3 between Duck and jonasnee, the Team Dignitas Invitational. We've got Duck playing as Galatia on the Metasena against jonasnee's Carthage. And I think this is a pretty good matchup for Galatia, because if Carthage brings elephants, Galatia does have tools to deal with it. They have javelin cav, and they also have auxiliary Syrian archers. So anyway, allow me to go over Duck's build as Galatia. So he has 3 horse skirmishers up front. Then he has 3 mercenary Syrian archers. Has 2 Cappadocian cav. Pretty standard stuff against Carthage, I suppose. Then he has a main line of 6 Galatian legionaries. These guys are really beastly in melee. We also have, interestingly enough, we have 1 Galatian sword unit, of course, Galatian nobleman general. Again, interestingly enough, it's a commander general. And we have 2 Galatian spears and a Levy Freeman. So quite an interesting build here by Duck, mostly quite standard. As for jonasnee, we have An African War Elephant, this is a really good unit if you can use it properly, but it will be hard against the 3 Syrian archers and the 3 horse skirmishers. Then he has 4 Carthaginian cavalry, it seems. Some decent mid-tier cavalry. 3 Balearic slingers, which should win against the Syrian archers, I would say. And then we have, where is his general unit? His general unit isn't a general's bodyguard, he is strategist, interestingly enough. And then we have, let's see, 2 late Libyan hoplites on his right flank and 2 late Libyan hoplites on his left flank. And we have a main line of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Libyan infantry. So this build isn't really bad by jonasnee. I think it's quite okay and standard, but I mean, he's playing against Galatia, and Galatian legionaries will absolutely mop up the Libyan infantry. The Cappadocian cav will do well against Carthaginian cav. Horse skirmishers will do well against elephants, and the archers will do well against elephants as well. And here come the horse skirmishers. They're going to be able to do some nice damage onto the Carthaginian cav. This is exactly what Duck wants here. I mean, yeah, the Syrians won't be able to beat the Balearics, at least I think so. But Duck has so much more infantry than jonasnee, and much better infantry as well. So if he can make sure that he neutralizes the elephant, he should definitely win this battle. But we'll see if Duck can do it or not. Yeah, you can see here more skirmishing done by Duck, lots of damage onto the Carthaginian cav. Mercenary horse skirmishers have lots of missile damage, and this is exactly what they excel at, killing cavalry with their huge missile damage. I mean, just look at this one Carthaginian cav. It's just running around, getting hit to death. Same thing on this side. Actually, jonasnee is mismicroing here, facing their way, and for some reason Duck is firing flaming arrows, which have 8 missile damage. This is again a mistake by Duck. Not really sure why he's doing them. Why he's doing that. He must have misclicked, but that is quite peculiar. And he's now turned it off, flaming arrows, but he wasted a lot of volleys that didn't really do anything at all for him. Now, let's look at the main line. Nothing is happening here because Duck is still skirmishing, which, I mean, he really can at the moment, because all he needs to do is make sure that his horse skirmishers kill the Carthaginian cav. He doesn't really need to take this quickly, and jonasnee is like, he's gonna get his cav shot up pretty quickly by the horse skirmishers, and he's still chasing the horse skirmishers. Again, this is really good for Duck, what jonasnee is doing here, but jonasnee might actually be able to get a charge. Oh no, he's gonna only be able to kill 1 cavalry unit. But Duck did lose almost 20 in that unit, so not ideal, but of course still very cost effective for Duck here. And killing the Carthaginian cav is really good for him, because what the Carthaginian cav can do is it can actually get into the Syrian archers, and if not kill them, just at least stop them from firing. And it can stop the Galatian legionaries from getting off their devastating charge against the Libyan infantry. And that might perhaps give the edge that the Libyan infantry need to win against the Galatian legionaries, but it will of course still be really hard for the Libyan infantry to win against Galatian legionaries. But with a cav charge, they might be able to do it. And here comes Duck. He's actually going to move up into range of this one Balearic slinger. He's not actually focus firing, which I find quite peculiar. He should be focus firing on the Balearics. You can see here the Syrians are starting to lose men while not actually doing enough damage. It does give a bit of support with horse skirmishers over here, but they do get shot by the Libyans. You can see the cavalry for Jonas is actually moving up. This might be quite bad if Duck stops his Galatian legionaries and gets some jabs off on the Carthaginian cav. And Duck's actually going to stop this one Carthaginian cav and probably just destroy it with Pila. So, I mean, Duck seems to have actually turned off fire at will on his Galatian legionaries. And we will see how that's going to go for him. Carthaginian cav is going to destroy horse skirmishers, but horse skirmishers probably out of ammo. More horse skirmishers over here. Here come the elephants, but Duck is starting to focus fire the elephants here with his archers. This one isn't really seeming to focus fire on them, though. These Galatian legionaries are doing some odd things, and they're getting charged by Libyan infantry, and you can see the elephants actually getting through here, trying to get to the archers, but they're not really getting to the archers at all here. You see Galatian spears here, gonna stop these late Libyan hoplites and should beat them, especially with pilas. And here come the Cappadocian cav into the Balearic slingers. They're gonna do so much damage here, already killing like 2 of those. You can see Syrian archers just doing so much damage to the African war elephants, and it's already looking extremely good for Duck here because he got those Cappadocians into the Balearic slingers. Forgot about this horse skirmisher unit, but it's alright. That's not the main engagement he needs to be focusing here. Can't really be affording to spend time micromanaging that unit at the moment, I suppose. So yeah, the African war elephants will soon be off the field and fully destroyed. Cappadocian cavalry will do a lot of damage here. It doesn't have to win against the cavalry or the archers, but it's just stopping the Balearics from firing, which is what he needs to do. Good move here by jonasnee. He's gonna be able to get a nice rear charge onto these Galatian legionaries and the Syrian archers to stop them from firing. But I feel like it's a bit too late because his mainline infantry is going to be crushed by Galatian swords and Galatian legionaries. His Duck has a pretty big advantage in terms of melee infantry. Balearics haven't really been able to do much. Carthaginian general is getting destroyed at the moment. Cappadocian's getting lots of kills on the Syrians and gonna be able to kill this Carthaginian cav. Carthaginian cav gonna be supporting, and yes, this late Libyan hoplite chased off the horse skirmishers, but it's not really gonna be enough to allow jonasnee to get the victory here, I think. Duck's gonna be able to pull it off, especially with this Galatian nobleman unit that's gonna be going around and probably just try and see if he can support the cav engagement because he needs to. So he popped Ray's banner. This is gonna allow his men to be even more cost effective in the engagement. And they're doing a lot of damage so far in this blob here. And yeah, here comes the Galatian nobleman unit, and that's going to absolutely crush those Carthaginian cav and the general's bodyguard. So I mean, at this point we can just start zooming in the battlefield and look at how it's going, because you can see that jonasnee at the moment, like, he doesn't have many units remaining, and they're gonna start wavering and routing to these Galatian legionaries, because Galatian legionaries are extremely strong and tough sword units that Galatia does have at his disposal. But perhaps it might have been better for jonasnee if he actually went super strong in terms of swords and brought, like, I don't know, 10 swords and just massed swords and killed Galatia that way. It might have worked for jonasnee. Still would have been risky because Galatian legionaries will be very effective against whatever units jonasnee decides to actually send up against the Galatian legionaries. So, but it would have been less risky, I think, and it might have worked with 10 swords because Duck only had, like, well, only, I say only, but he had like 7 swords, 6 of them being really good in those Galatian legionaries. But with a lot more swords, jonasnee might have been able to do it instead of this one elephant, which, as you see, it's quite risky and wasn't really able to do what it needed to do in order to win this battle for jonasnee, because it just got focused by the Syrian archers. So really what jonasnee had to do in this game is somehow get to the Syrian archers and kill them, or at least stop them from firing for a while until the elephants of jonasnee get the kills needed, or just not bring the elephant at all and just bring more swords instead of it. Because I feel like if he had like 10 swords again, like say like 3 of those mercenary Samnite warriors and lots of Libyan infantry, or maybe even the Iberian swords for flanking, like I feel like it would have gone really well for jonasnee potentially, just by having more swords. Because probably when you're playing Galatia, you expect elephants out of Carthage, so you're not going to be bringing a lot of... yeah, sure, you're going to be bringing 6 Galatian legionaries, but are you going to be bringing more Galatian swords? Quite unlikely, I think. So, again, I mean, pretty nice builds by both players, but I mean, the gamble with the elephant didn't really work out for jonasnee. So yeah, Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more, don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. Share the video, and I shall see you in the next tournament match, the Team Dignitas Invitational.